Welcome inside our CBS Sports Studios. I'm Adam Schein. This, of course, the legendary Kyle Long, and legendary as an analyst, legendary as a human, legendary as a former Chicago Bear. And Kyle, let's talk about your Chicago Bears, my Chicago Bears, America's Chicago Bears, because once again, this team has a knack. It was a game that was on CBS, 31-28 victory against Pittsburgh. All this team does, find a way to get a win.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, if you look up at the beginning of this game, in the way that the Bears came out of the tunnel, came out of the huddle at the beginning of the game, the ball was out of Caleb's hands. It was in his star player's hands quickly, being able to matriculate the ball down the field with explosive plays. This is the version of the Chicago Bears offense that we have been begging for as Bears fans. And you said your Chicago Bears. I would argue this team that we're watching week to week that have won 8 of their last 9 are nothing like the Bears that I was on.
Right.
This team, every single week when they come out of the tunnel, they believe that they have a chance to win. And that's because of Ben Johnson. It's because of Caleb Williams. And I just feel like this team is playing for one another. You see guys dropping out of the lineup on the offensive line. Ozzie Trapillo, Boston College Eagle, second-round pick, stepping in there in the place of Theo Benedette, who was stepping into the place of somebody else, Braxton Jones. It's such a next man up mentality. You saw the right guard spot with Jonah Jackson. He went down today. Newman filled in, did a great job. This unit is playing together. They're fun to watch, and they can score a bevy of points week in, week out.
And I think that we need to start talking about this team on a different level, okay? Let me just, they're the first place Chicago Bears. They're 8-3. And they can win any style of fight. Caleb Williams, 3 more touchdowns. And I think that he needs to be in the MVP conversation at the bottom of the ballot. Not top 3, but number 4, number 5 on a list. Ben Johnson needs to be in the conversation when it comes to Coach of the Year. What the interior portion of the offensive line has done has been remarkable. They have a 2-headed monster at running back. The defense makes plays. And you look at the division. I mean, Green Bay had an excellent victory against Minnesota. The Vikings with J.J. McCarthy, they're cooked. Lions down by 10 in the 4th, able to beat the Giants. I guess we're at the stage, why not Chicago?
Yeah.
Like and I know the schedule is tough. All these teams have to beat the Bears, which is now officially because of that quarterback, that coach, that defense, that culture, that 2-headed monster running back, that offensive line. That's a Herculean task for anyone. Friday, day after Thanksgiving, the Black Friday game against Philly.
Oh,
I favor Chicago. I think the Bears right now deserve to be considered better than most when you look at the landscape in the NFC.
Yeah, I just think they do such a great job playing complementary football. They may not be the, all-pro version of whatever you want to see offensively or defensively or from special teams, but they all do a great job keeping themselves above water, playing complementary football, forcing the turnovers. The other thing I saw today from Caleb Williams was taking that record-setting sack from T.J. Watt in the end zone and just getting ragdolled. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, God, here comes the Steelers defense. You know what happened? Because Mason Rudolph had just scored for these guys for the Steelers. I think it was a tie ball game at that point in time. You got to get out of the shadow of your own. No. They don't even think about that. It happens. Caleb Williams to the sideline. It was a touchdown for the Steelers. Huge swing in the game. But nobody blinks. And I think that's because of Ben Johnson. And I think it's because you have confidence in your quarterback. And obviously, the litany of star power you have at the pass-catching spot, the 2-headed monster at the running back you mentioned. 4 guys had 5 or more targets for this football team. DJ Moore, Colston Loveland has come out of the woodwork as an absolute star at the tight end position, a safety blanket. Clutch player, big money down type player. Roma Dunze is flourishing into a big-time player before our very eyes. Luther Burden getting some burn as well. We talked about him a couple weeks ago. There are guys with juice in that building, and you can feel the confidence from the Bears. You mentioned these matchups they have. They got a couple huge divisional opponents. I know we don't want to look past Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles, but you got the Green Bay Packers.
Huge.
Twice in the next 4 weeks. You're going to finish the season on January 4th against the Detroit Lions. 3 division games, rivalry games. This is where it's at. I was talking to Big Cat this week, and he said we have to look at it like this. It's a 7-game series. Go win 4 games. Go win the 7-game series. You're going to be in a great position. I'd never really thought about that as a football player in that way. I'm more of a week-to-week guy. But go win 4 games,
Yeah.
and you're going to look up, and you're going to be in a damn good spot as a Bear.
And you say damn good spot. To me, they're very capable of winning the division. I currently trust the Bears and have for a couple of weeks now, as we've been talking about them seemingly week after week here on the NFL and CBS YouTube page. Look, I trust them more than Green Bay. I trust them more than Detroit. I know head-to-head earlier in the season. I don't think Dan Campbell is great in game. Minnesota, forget about it. And I think in some way, there's a house's money approach when it comes to Chicago. Because my goal for the Bears, they're not going to be judged this year by how many playoff games do they win.
No.
I want the Bears in 2026 to be in the mix for the Super Bowl. And I think that is a fair stated goal. I think I'll raise the bar a little bit. I say house's money. They're very capable of winning the division.
Yeah.
They're very capable of winning a playoff game or two. That's not how they're going to be judged. As you said, your Chicago Bears, they didn't do this. Matt Eberflus's Chicago Bears clearly didn't do it. It's a new era and a new feel for the Bears. This, to me, is what winning football in Chicago looks like.
Yeah, it's crazy. I almost get the feeling that they are so much different than when I played there, that if I were to request to go to a game and sit on the sideline, they would say, "Who are you?" Because that's how well they're doing this thing called football right now, and they have reinvented themselves. I give credit to Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, obviously the McCaskey family. They've done a great job turning things around, and it hasn't been status quo for the Chicago Bears. They had a slam dunk with the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, which is, it didn't feel like a Chicago Bears-ish pick, and then they signed Ben Johnson. And that was like, oh my God, they got it right. They hit the home run. And now seemingly things continue to fall in place. We're in the free football territory, which we've talked about. It's just icing on the cake. But you're right. 2026, 2027, this is going to be a wagon of a football team. And get ready to be watching the Bears in primetime all the time.
Yeah, and by the way, it kind of has more from get the Bears off my TV to now checking the schedule. Okay, we have the Bears. So the window of exclusivity. Give me more Chicago Bears. Bears today on CBS against Pittsburgh. Unbelievable victory. Bears football, baby. You got to love sports.